So we are continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter 26. We have to read text 39. We have been reading of the different hellish planets. Different sinful activities leads us to hellish planets. And Sukadev Goswami, we heard yesterday saying that pious activities lead us to heavenly planets. But what did he say about this hellish and heavenly planets? Does anyone remember?
Because he said, yes, Nehaji, you can say. Yeah.
Neha, please, you say.
He said that even if person wants to go to heaven or hell, he's just wasting his time. Because the main purpose is to get out of here and go to our home, Godhead.
That's right. Yeah, thank you. And that if we go to hellish planet also, after the time finishes, we have to come back to Earth.
Come back.
And
Yes,
if we are in
the
heavenly
cycle.
planet, yeah,
Then we finish our punya and then we again fall down from there.
come to the Earth. That's right. So we'll continue reading. Shrutva sthulam tatha sukshmam.
Shrutva sthulam tatha sukshamam.
Rupam bhagavato yatihe.
Rupam bhagavato yati.
Sthule nirjitam atmanam.
Sthule nirjitam atmanam.
Shane sukshmam dhyanayet iti.
Shane shukshmam dhyanayetiti.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One who is interested in liberation, who accepts the path of liberation, and is not attracted to the path of conditional life, is called yati, or a devotee. Such a person should first control his mind by thinking of the Virat Roop, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, and then gradually think of the spiritual form of Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, after hearing of both forms. Thus, one's mind is fixed in samadhi. By devotional service, one can then realize the spiritual form of the Lord, which is the destination of devotees. Thus, his life becomes successful. So yesterday we also heard Sukadev Goswami was saying that one can begin devotional service by thinking of the Lord in his Virat Roop, his universal form. So he's continuing to say that control the mind by thinking of the Virat Roop, the universal form, and then gradually think of Krishna, his spiritual form, Satchidananda Vigraha. And in this way, fix the mind on Krishna, engage in devotional service, and realize the Supreme Lord. It is said, Mahat Sevam Dvaram Ahur Vimukte. If one wants to progress on the path of liberation, he should associate with Mahatmas or liberated devotees, because in such association, there is full chance for hearing, describing, and chanting about the name, form, qualities, and paraphernalia of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of which are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukte, association of the devotees, service to the devotees, association with the Mahatmas. And what does one do in such association?
He gets to hear about the names.
Chanting of
Gun.
Hearing and chanting.
Chanting, yeah.
On the path of bondage, one eternally undergoes the repetition of birth and death. One who desires liberation from such bondage should join the International Society for Krishna Consciousness and thus take advantage of the opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from devotees and also explain it to propagate Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is inviting everyone, whoever desires liberation, to join the Krishna consciousness movement. Take the association of devotees hearing and chanting in the association of devotees, and also give Krishna consciousness to others. We hear and we chant. So hearing about Krishna and giving Krishna to others. How would this go, Neha?
Bhudvip Varsha Saritadrinab Samudra
Bhudvipavarša Saridadrinabha Samudra
Bhudvip Varsha Saritadrinab Samudra
Bhudvipavarša Sariratrinapassamudra
Patala Dinnarakabhagna Loka Samstha
Patal Dignarak Bhagan Lok Samstha
Gita Maya Tava Nirpadpatam Ishvarasya
Gita Maya Tav Nripadbhutam Ishvarasya
Tulam Vapusakala Jivanikaya Dham
Sthulam Vapusal
Vapusakal
Jeevnikaya
Jeevnikaya
Dhama.
Dhama.
My dear King, I have now described for you this planet Earth, other planetary systems, and the lands, varshas, rivers, and mountains. I've also explained, I've also described the sky, the oceans, the lower planetary systems, the directions, the hellish planetary systems, and the stars. These constitute the Virat Rupa, the gigantic material form of the Lord, on which all living entities repose. Thus, I've explained the wonderful expanse of the external body of the Lord. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th Canto, 26th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled A Description of the Hellish Planets. So here Sukadev Goswami is saying to Maharaj Parikshit that he's, from 2nd and 3rd canto also he described about the gigantic form of the Lord. He's saying, I've told you so much, and all this all includes within the body of the Lord, within the universal form of the Lord. We heard about Jambu Dweep and Sumeru Mountain, like so many different things, different islands we were hearing. And now we heard of the hellish planets, different types of oceans, and everything is contained within the universal form of the Lord. There's nothing that's outside this universal form of the Lord. Gigantic material form of the Lord. So this, because it's made of matter, no? The planets, all this is made of matter. That's why it's being called material form. Krishna has Sachidananda form, but this Virat Roop, this universal form, is being called material because you know how the planets are there, the oceans, the clouds. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Completed in the Honolulu Temple of the Panchatattva, June 5, 1995. There is a supplementary note written by His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada in his Gaudiya Bhasya. Its translation is as follows. Learned scholars who have full knowledge of all the Vedic scriptures agree that the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are innumerable. These incarnations are classified into two divisions called Prabhav and Vaibhav. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving a commentary, a note which is written by his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And this note comes in Gaudiya Bhashya. So which is speaking that there are many, many incarnations of the Supreme Lord, and they are divided into Prabhav and Vaibhav. According to the scriptures, Prabhav incarnations are also classified in two divisions, those which are called eternal and those which are not vividly described. In this fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in chapters 3 through 6, there is a description of Rishabdev, but there is not an expanded description of his spiritual activities. Therefore, he is considered to belong to the second group of Prabhav incarnations. So Prabhupada is giving us the comments by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, saying that the incarnations are two types, Prabhav and Vaibhav. And in Prabhav, also there are two, which are called eternal, and those which are not vividly described. So I don't know what does that exactly mean. Those that are not vividly described means whose too much details are not given. But one of these Prabhav incarnations are called eternal. So Prabhupada is mentioning here of Rishabdev.
Because in Hindi, Shilpa ji, the word is avarnit, jiska varnan nahi kiya gaya. So you are right, that's not described. Yeah, avarnit.
Yeah, so the details are not given. So same, so Rishabdev is belonging to this category. Thank you, Neha. In Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto.
We had read quite a bit about Rishabdev, right?
Yeah,
so
we had.
Details were actually, right? Yeah.
We did read quite a bit of his teachings. His teachings was a lot. Most was his instructions to his sons. So most
but it's written कि किंतु उनके सत रूप का विस्तृत वर्णन नहीं हुआ था.
That's true. Of his spiritual form, you mean?
Yes.
We did hear that he was going around without any clothes, and he was going around in the forest, and his stool, all that was very fragrant.
Yes.
But but you're saying, Neha, in Hindi is saying that his personal form was not described.
उनके सत रूप का विस्तृत वर्णन नहीं हुआ, इसलिए उनको इस कैटेगरी में रखा गया है, अवर्णित.
Okay.
So that means that eternal form, right? कि उनके eternal form को इतना describe नहीं करा गया, क्योंकि एक eternal है और एक अवर्णित है, तो means कि उनके उस form को यहाँ describe नहीं किया गया इतना ज़्यादा. Right? What's that? I mean,
that's right. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, verse 13, it is said, Ashtame Meru Devyam tu Nabe Jata Urukrama Darshayan Vartma Dhiranam Sarvashrama Namaskritam. Lord Vishnu appeared in the 8th incarnation as the son of Maharaj Nabhi, the son of Agnidra, and his wife Meru Devi. So Lord Vishnu appeared in the 8th incarnation as the son of Maharaj Nabhi. And who's Maharaj Nabhi? He's the son of Agnidra and his wife. So Maharaj Nabhi's wife is Meru Devi. So he showed the path of perfection, the Paramham stage of life, which is worshipped by all the followers of Varna Sharma Dharma. Rishabdev is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his body is spiritual, Satchidananda Vigraha. Therefore, one might ask how it might be possible that he passed stool and urine. The Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya, Baladev Vidyabhushan, has replied to this question in his book known as Siddhanta Ratna. First portion, text 65 to 68. So Baladev Vidyabhushan, great Acharya in our line, he's also given us the Govinda Bhasya, the commentary. So he's writing, imperfect men call attention to Rishabdev's passing stool and urine as a subject matter for the study of non-devotees who do not understand the spiritual position of a transcendental body. In this 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 5, 6, 11, the illusion and bewildered state of the materialist of this age is fully described. So, instead of trying to understand Rishabdev's teachings, that's the reason he incarnated, to give these valuable teachings. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes. He's the one who said. So instead of focusing on his teachings, one may want to argue about his passing stool and urine. So this is what Baladev Vidyabhushan is trying to say. That, it's because one just gets bewildered by Maya, and then one tries to look into unimportant things. Elsewhere in 5th canto, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 19, Rishabdev stated, Idam Shariram Mama Durvibhavyam, this body of mine is inconceivable for materialists. So he himself is saying that materialists cannot understand my body because the Lord is inconceivable. If we can just try to understand that the Lord is inconceivable because he has unlimited power, so he can do everything. Why he cannot do? So this is also confirmed by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. The human form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is extremely difficult to understand, and in fact, for a common man, it is inconceivable. So Krishna himself is saying, because many people, they're not able to understand that Krishna, this form of Krishna is transcendental. It's Satchidananda. It's not material, not made of flesh, bones, and blood. It's Satchidananda. So it's inconceivable for someone to understand that how God can take a form, because someone may say that, oh, but well, God is unlimited. So how is the unlimited taking a form? So if we can just try to understand that God is unlimited, so why he cannot take a form? If we say he cannot take a form, then we are limiting him, but he is unlimited. And this is his original form. It's not that he's originally formless and then he takes a form. No, God is a person. He has a form. This is what, so many people are unable to understand that, oh, God is a person, because someone may think, oh, person means material form, but spiritual. His form is transcendental, Satchidananda. Therefore, Rishabdev has directly explained that his own body belongs to the spiritual platform. This being so, Rishabdev did not actually pass stool and urine. Even though he superficially seemed to pass stool and urine, that was also transcendental and cannot be imitated by any common man. So, Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary is saying that although he seemed to be passing, but it was superficial. Because it was really fragrant, right, for miles and miles. And this was also a transcendental pastime. No one can imitate. It is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the stool and urine of Rishabdev are full of transcendental fragrance. One may imitate Rishabdev, but he cannot imitate him by passing stool that is fragrant. So Prabhupada is saying, yeah, one can imitate, that you pass stool and roll in it, but then what's the smell going to be like? The activities of Rishabdev, therefore, do not support the claims of a certain class of men known as Arhat, who sometimes advertise that they are followers of Rishabdev. How can they be followers of Rishabdev while they act against the Vedic principles? Sukadev Goswami has related that after hearing about the characteristics of Lord Rishabdev, the king of Konka, Venka, and Kutaka initiated a system of religious principles known as Arhat. These principles were not in accord with Vedic principles, and therefore they are called Pasan Dharma. The members of the Arhat community considered Rishabdev's activities material. However, Rishabdev is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is on the transcendental platform and no one can compare to him. So Sukadev Goswami is saying if one thinks that Rishabdev, his body or his form or his activities are material, then that is a wrong consideration because Rishabdev is an incarnation of God. So his body, his form, his pastimes, his activities are all spiritual, all transcendental. He's incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He's incarnation of God. So he's completely spiritual. Rishabdev personally exhibited the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 6, Text 8. Dava nalas tadvanam ale lihana sahatena dadaha. At the conclusion of Rishabdev's pastimes, an entire forest and the Lord's body were burned to ashes in a great forest fire. In the same way, Rishabdev burned people's ignorance to ashes. He exhibited the characteristics of a Paramhams in his instructions to his sons. The principles of the Arhat community, however, do not correspond to the teachings of Rishabdev. So Sukadev Goswami is saying that he is here put the teachings, what the instructions of Lord Rishabdev. And one may claim to be followers of Lord Rishabdev, but may not be following his teachings. And that what's important is to follow the teachings, the instructions, just as Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita are very important to follow. Then one can say one is following Lord Krishna. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan remarks that in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is another description of Rishabdev, but that Rishabdev is different from the one described in this canto, end of the 5th canto. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that Baladev Vidyabhushan is also saying that there is another Rishabdev mentioned in the 8th canto. When we read the 8th canto, we will hear about him. But that Rishabdev is different than the Rishabdev that we just heard about in the 5th canto. Questions, comments? Anything to add? This brought us to the end of the 5th canto. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the son of Rishabdev, right? He had 100 sons. So the son...
Rishabdev had 100 sons. Yeah.
Yes, so Bharat Maharaj was his son who followed his teachings clearly, right?
Yes, yeah.
Was an exalted devotee.
That's
So,
right.
Shilpa ji, the one they are trying to say Arhat, is it the Jain community they're trying to?
That's what we
I'm
read,
not
right?
sure.
Because we
Earlier,
read
that's
that.
what Sukadev Goswami had said that earlier. Here,
Yeah.
they are mentioning Arhat. I'm not sure if it's the same, but at earlier time was mentioned about the Jain. That's what Sukadev
Yeah, they
Goswami
said that there was
saying.
not that is the fake, right? They said that that's
Not
not the original who's following there. No, what did they say? That they are not
their
following his teachings.
instructions of, not following
Yeah,
the teachings, the instructions of Rishabdev.
Rishabdev. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. So, I mean,
And
he's
that
again mentioning
Rishabdev,
it.
yeah.
That means it's important.
Yeah, and because Lord Rishabdev, he is God himself. He's an incarnation of God. So he's spiritual, he's transcendental, his teachings are spiritual, his teachings are transcendental.
Hmm.
So I wonder what it is then. Another description of Rishabdev. The eighth
Yeah, I
canto.
wonder too, So I guess we'll have to wait till the 8th canto
Yeah,
to
we'll
find
have
out.
to wait until it can.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Yeah. Wow.
So 6th canto, Canto 6, Prescribed Duties for Mankind, Chapter 1, History of the Life of Ajamil. It's very interesting also, this story of Ajamil.
Yes.
Very, very
Throughout,
interesting.
Yes.
yeah. I
And
was
I
reading,
think
I was hearing, yeah. Sorry.
I just wanted to tell you that the 6th canto is also the Poshanam. Every canto has
Portion.
its, so this is like about the devotees, like how you can, the bhakti. From here it starts, the Poshanam.
Okay.
Poshanam. What is
Thank you.
Poshanam? I didn't get it.
For all the 12 cantos, right, Shilpa ji? There are names for all the
Yeah.
12, right?
Yeah,
So
there are.
there
Samam
are,
Bonam is the 10th canto.
yes,
Because
yes,
Bhagavatam has 10 subject matters.
yeah.
Okay.
Sarga, Visarga, it starts like that. Creation, the
Yes, yes,
secondary creation, then maintenance,
yes,
like that.
yes.
I'm forgetting also now.
Uti is
Yeah,
it?
actually, it says here.
Liberation,
There is
liberation.
one.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think it's described. It's saying here. The third,
Okay.
fourth, and what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So let's read on.
Yeah, we'll read. Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, there are descriptions of 10 subject matters, including creation, subsequent creation, that's right, thank you, and the planetary systems. So Kadev Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, has already described creation, subsequent creation, and the planetary systems in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th cantos. So who does the subsequent creation?
Brahma.
Brahmaji,
Brahmaji, that's right. And creation?
Mahavishnu,
Vishnu.
That's right. It's done by the Vishnu, the 3 Purushas, no? Yeah. Mahavishnu, then Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, yeah. Okay. So then, now in this 6th canto, which consists of 19 chapters, he will describe Poshana, or protection by the Lord. So this chapter we are going to hear how the Lord protects his devotees. The first chapter relates the history of Ajamil, who was considered a greatly sinful man, but was liberated when 4 order carriers of Vishnu came to rescue him from the hands of the order carriers of Yamaraj. A full description of how he was liberated, having been relieved of the reactions of his sinful life, is given in this chapter. Sinful activities are painful both in this life and in the next. We should know for certain that the cause of all painful life is sinful action. So we suffer, we feel pain. Why? Why do we suffer?
Because of our
because of our
sinful
sins,
action.
sins that we do.
Yeah,
Sinful
because of
action.
the sins that we commit. Yeah. On the path of work, one certainly commits sinful activities, and therefore, according to the considerations of Karma, different types of atonement are recommended. Such methods of atonement, however, do not free one from ignorance, which is the root of sinful life. So, because in our daily activities, in our work, we are prone to do sinful activities. It's just that. And then what is recommended? Prayaschit, atonement. But even if we do prayaschit, even if we atone for our sins, it doesn't take away our proclivity to sin, our desire to sin. It doesn't take that away. We still have that desire to sin even after we atone for our sins or do prayaschit. Why? Because of our ignorance. So ignorance is the root cause of why we sin. Consequently, one is prone to commit sinful activities even after atonement, which is therefore very inadequate for purification. So because people do prayaschit, people take up very difficult things, very difficult austerities to purify, but is still not enough. On the path of speculative knowledge, one becomes free from sinful life by understanding things as they are. Therefore, the acquirement of speculative knowledge is also considered a method of atonement. So Prabhupada is saying one who is on the path of knowledge, on the Gyan Marg, one gets free of sin by getting knowledge. And what's that knowledge? I'm not the body, I'm the soul. So once one understands I'm not the body, I'm the soul, then one will not commit any sinful activity anymore. Because then one understands, I have nothing to do with the material world, so why should I act in a sinful way? Okay. So therefore, the acquirement of speculative knowledge is also considered a method of atonement. While performing fruitive activities, one can become free from the actions of sinful life through austerity, penance, celibacy, control of the mind and senses, truthfulness, and the practice of mystic yoga. So now different types of atonement are being said. So getting gyan, getting knowledge is one kind of atonement, prayaschit. Then on the Karmakand section, the prayaschit can be doing severe penances, austerities, observing celibacy, control mind and senses, taking a vow to be always truthful, being in meditation, practicing mystic yoga. By awakening knowledge, one may also neutralize sinful reactions. Neither of these methods, however, can free one from the tendency to commit sinful activities. So what happens is one may do prayaschit. So one will say, okay, I already went to the pilgrimage, I already did austerity, penance, celibacy, everything I did. So all the previous account is clear. The sins are gone. But as soon as one finishes doing those austerity or penances, one again has the tendency to commit sin. So, because none of the other methods take away the tendency to sin, the desire to sin. By Bhakti Yoga, one can completely avoid the tendency for sinful life. Other methods are not very feasible. Therefore, the Vedic literature concludes that devotional service is more important than the methods of Karmakand and Jnanakand. So it's only by bhakti that even the desire to sin, the proclivity to sin goes away. The beach is completely destroyed. The desire to sin is destroyed by engaging in bhakti, devotional service. Only the path of devotional service is auspicious for everyone. Creative activities and speculative knowledge cannot independently liberate anyone, but devotional service, independent of karma and jnana, is so potent that one who has fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna is guaranteed not to meet the Yamadutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, even in dreams. So one who is engaging in bhakti, who is, here Prabhupada is saying one who has fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. So means one who is completely surrendered to Krishna. And there's a guarantee that such a person will never meet the Yamadutas. Not only personally, but not even in dreams. To prove the strength of devotional service, Sukadev Goswami described the history of Ajamil. Ajamil was a resident of Kanya, the modern Kannauj. He was trained by his parents to become a perfect Brahmana by studying the Vedas and following the regulative principles. But because of his past, this youthful Brahmana was somehow attracted by a prostitute, and because of her association, he became most fallen and abandoned all regulative principles. Ajamil begot in the womb of the prostitute 10 sons, the last of whom was called Narayan. At the time of Ajamil's death, when the order carriers of Yamaraj came to take him, he loudly called the name Narayan in fear because he was attached to his youngest son. Thus he remembered the original Narayan, Lord Vishnu. Although he did not chant the holy name of Narayan completely offenselessly, it acted nevertheless. As soon as he chanted the holy name of Narayan, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu immediately appeared on the scene. A discussion ensued between the order carriers of Lord Vishnu and those of Yamraj, and by hearing that discussion, Ajamil was liberated. He could then understand the bad effect of fruitive activities and could also understand how exalted is the process of devotional service. So this is what we are going to hear about in this chapter, the story of Ajamil, how he was a nice Brahman engaged in devotional service, how he gives up his devotional service, he gets involved with a prostitute, gives up his family, his wife, his parents. He stays with the prostitute. He engages in all sinful activities. Somehow or the other, he calls his youngest child Narayan. And when he's about to die, he says Narayan because he's so scared of the Yamadutas who've come to take him. And because he's saying Narayan, the Vishnu Dutas came to protect him. And there is actually a discussion, between Yamaraj, the Yamadutas and the Vishnu Dutas. And then the Yamadutas, they go to Yamaraj and they ask, oh, who are these people? Under whose order are they acting? So we are going to hear about all that in this canto, in this chapter. So we'll start with text 1 tomorrow. We'll stop here. Comments, questions?
Very interesting.
Interesting.
And yeah, and this will be the first time I think that we'll be doing it in detail, like shlok by shlok every.
Yeah, because in the Krishna book it was, right?
Yeah, not Krishna book. We had not
Even
like
the
Krishna.
Krishna?
No,
Yeah.
but they just give like just very, very
Summary,
small
no?
note,
Yeah.
not even summary, they just mention. But you remember we have read a book only, the second chant.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
second chance.
Yeah. Correct.
हमने
Yeah.
एक बुक पढ़ा हुआ है सेकंड चांस, उसमें भी
Jamil ki,
इतना
yes.
डिटेल नहीं है, बट आई थिंक यहाँ पे बहुत डिटेल में है, एक एक उसका बिहेवियर, उसके किस कर्म के कारण क्या हुआ. So like this will be quite detailed for the first time. So excited because we know Ajamil, so our doubts will be cleared. There might be some, and it will be more clarification about Ajamil. So,
and why the son was named Narayana?
yeah,
Because one sage had come.
yeah.
Yeah, the sage had come and kept the name Narayan.
Yeah, told.
They had just told the wife that please keep this name.
Yeah.
He was pregnant, yeah. So they said कि जो बच्चा होगा उसका नाम आप नारायण ही रखना.
Yeah.
इसकी वजह से उसको भी ना, I know, देखना how.
Actually वो उसी के वजह से आए ना sages, because भगवान बोलते हैं ना कि मैं नहीं भूलता.
The shelter of the Lord is there.
Yes.
So because actually Ajamil was a devotee, but he had somehow or the other drifted away.
Right.
So then again Krishna made arrangements to bring him back.
And who was another person also who got attracted? Also like by a prostitute, there was, right? Another story.
Vilvamangal Thakur? No, he didn't get attracted. He got attracted, right?
Yeah.
Vilvamangal Thakur so many times.
Yeah.
Vilvamangal Thakur. He got attracted.
Was it also no. Vishwamitra? No.
That was by Menaka.
Yeah, that was not the prostitute. Right? But that was not the prostitute. Yeah.
No, she came from the
heavenly planets. Yeah, she was Menaka, no?
sent by
Monica, right?
Menaka.
Yeah.
There was another story. That was because Indra wanted to distract Vishwamitra.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
because of that. So, but Bilva Mangal Thakur and Ajamilya, they were devotees and they get distracted. Then how Krishna again brings them back, you know. Yeah. Okay. So we'll read tomorrow then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
Jai.
ki jai, Gaur
Ki jai.
Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
And